Hey everybody, it's Kelly. Welcome back to the episode of Ask a Therapist. Today we are answering a direct question that was asked recently, which is Christianity an MLM, a multi-level marketing system? Over the course of June, there were a couple of very specific religious things that happened that we are going to address now that it's July, and this is part of it. For pretty much anybody who's been on social media, you are familiar with some of the pushback against MLMs, or you have a friend who's participating in an MLM, or maybe both. The question came to me because I reposted a video by Canadian Kells on TikTok. Go ahead and check her out. She's got a great series about MLMs and the correlation just in her small town that she grew up in between the types of girls that people were in high school and the MLMs they went into. The reason this is so interesting to me is because I've long felt that MLMs have a predatory nature. They sort of prey on people who are single, young moms a lot that are looking for, a way to earn their own income when they are at home with the kids. MLMs really target those people who don't have other options on how to make a living or whose livings are not helping them to make a living and to live. You may have seen the specials on Hulu and on other streaming platforms of the MLMs that sort of flew too high and really got exposed for the ways they were taking advantage of people. The bottom line is, unless you have a large group of people who are willing to buy from you, MLMs aren't outrageously successful for the individual. In fact, it's upwards of 95% of people don't actually make really all that much money in their MLMs. Before you come at me in the comments and say, "Oh, I'm making a great amount of money. It's been so freeing for me." That's awesome for you. That does not necessarily mean that the structure of a multi-level marketing company is not predatory in nature. The thing that I want to talk about today, though, is Christianity and its connection to MLMs, because as someone who grew up in Christianity, who worked in Christianity for a long time, and who now works with helping people to deconstruct the things that have been constructed in their life because of following Christianity, and because of the way that Christianity was followed in their life, I can't help but see a lot of similarities. So let's look at it. In an MLM, you join and you get product. You're supposed to essentially become a seller of that product, which means you need to use it. You need to utilize your relationships with people in order to get them to trust you to use it also. Even if it is authentically a product you believe in, you are kind of relying on your relationships with people or your ability to build relationships with people in order to sell that product. Also, in an MLM, you are expected to bring other people in under you, and you then get a portion of their sales. People above you get a portion of their sales. So in an MLM, you are entering, you're buying into the product, you are talking about the product with people, or evangelizing about the product. Well, you're getting people to buy into the product, you're bringing people on board to also then sell. You turn your customers into salespeople, and that's how the company gets the word out about their product, and that's how the company gets a reputation. So Christianity, you come to Christianity, you buy into what they're teaching you, you also then explain that to other people, you get them to buy into what you're teaching, and you then teach them how to go out and get other people to buy into what they're teaching. Just because there's not direct specific money being changed hands does not mean this is not predatory. When any message is mass produced to the most hurt people by those who are the haves, it can be predatory in nature. It doesn't actually matter if the intention is predatory, if the result is. Does that make sense? And the only reason this is even important at all is because the rise of MLMs and the rise of Christian nationalism seems so connected to me anyway. The fact that we see all of these people who are trying to make their lives better and do better and bring more money in and really buy more into capitalism in order to escape capitalism, I think, is kind of what they say anyway. This whole idea of, I'm gaining financial freedom, this idea that the way that you were doing life before was in chains and the way that you're doing it now after this company or after this religion is freedom. It's the same thing. So then the question becomes, is that working in both areas? Because that's just how human beings are, because that connects deepest to who we are as people, and then that's why both are spreading so fast? I don't think so. I think at their root, people do want to connect with other people. The way that we connect with other people is very different person to person, and that's okay. Because of that, what you need from someone and what, your next door neighbor might need from someone is going to be different Very likely. But I would say that the reason that MLMs are so successful in this day and age is because people's need to connect and be part of one another's lives and one another's experience, and people's inherent loneliness at this point in time makes everyone sort of ripe for the picking when it comes to, hey, do you want to have freedom and independence and this amazing, wonderful life with these great trips and conventions and deals if you sell this much product? It taps into that desire that everyone has to make their life a little bit better than it is right now. Even the most content people, if they're guaranteed a way to make their life just a little bit better, might be tempted. So if you look at all the people who are dissatisfied with their lives at this point in time, why wouldn't they be tempted, right? Once you start doing this social media deep dive into MLMs and what's out there from creators who have been part of them and how that's worked for them, once you sort of get in that deep dive, it's kind of hard to unsee the predatory nature of an MLM. But my confusion is, why are we then okay as a society with the inherently predatory nature of evangelical Christianity? Because it's targeted to those who are in need. Specifically in the Bible, it talks about the orphans and the widows and the needy and the hungry. And it's really easy to go from, we should be caring for those who need care, which I think is a human mandate, and we all should be doing that, sure, connected to a religion or not, to care for them in order to convert them. If you're doing something out of your faith, if you truly believe that this is something that is who you are and how you go about the world, why do you have to also bring people along back with you? Like, if I'm a new Christian and I am told I have to go and work with the poor in order to convert them and give them things and do things for them to make them more comfortable. And the purpose of doing that is to make them believe in the cause that I believe in. In whose world is that not manipulative? That's manipulative. I've just never, even when I worked in the church, I've never completely understood why we act as though if your religion means something to you, you will bring other people into it. Because it again makes it not about you or your worth or what you bring to anything unless you can bring other people to it. Religion is so complicated, and there are so many different ways that the manipulation happens in order to make you feel like this is your only option. And there's a lot of layers for a lot of us. Some people have completely walked away from religion because of how damaging it's been for them, and some people are still in religious settings but have a more nuanced understanding of what that means for them and how that looks. And there's no right or wrong way to go about this, but to pretend like the way that religion and the way that Christianity specifically is being peddled in the United States at this point, to pretend like it's not manipulative on the bigger stage, and to pretend like when we guilt people into saying you're not a good Christian or you don't love God because you're not bringing people to Jesus or because you're not increasing our attendance, which also means increasing dollars in the pockets of the people in charge. If that is indicative of how somebody feels about the creator that they're worshiping, and if that's what's required in order for them to show that they have the belief and the confidence in the message that they're sending, how is that different from an MLM? This is part of a larger conversation. Next week, we're going to talk about Shining Happy People, the documentary on Hulu. If you have any suggestions or specific questions about religion or religious trauma or deconstruction, make sure you drop them below. That's it for today. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you all next time. And until then, take care of yourselves and each other.